Look, number 142. Take it up with your sharp sky later. Keep it mowing.
Clean and easily defined. It's the shattered, twisted remnants of information scattered across an ever-changing reality that actively attempts to distort, twist, and manipulate information and facts. The very dimensions of the galaxy itself are actively working against those within it. And even if you only were to consider the Heresy series, it's still over 60 novels. We, as those outside the verse, are then left to somehow try and pick apart the confusing, knotted, and ragged threads of a destroyed but rich tapestry and decide for ourselves just what pattern they were originally supposed to form. After some time, I've often thought how you end up starting to feel like Ol P himself. You have memories of events, conversations, things you thought you knew for sure, things that happened, references you read, but then you stop and you consider, wait, were these real? Or were they just badly stored memories, corrupted details of discussions that you in one moment discarded but simultaneously remembered, albeit incorrectly, and then later recalled and blurred that memory with some other piece of information? Sounds overdramatic and absurd, yet I have regularly had conversations with people and or read comments who are as confused as this. Such is the nature of the narrative that forms the 40k verse. So pity the authors who are required to do continuity checks. As I've so often said, 40k as a fiction begins to mirror itself more and more with its increasing difficulty to keep the actual reality of things clean and certain, if it ever were. And then you have The Emperor, which somehow always starts off feeling easy, and then when you start to get into it, becomes migraine-inducingly vague, and when you actually reference his recounting, his visions, supposed memories, pearls of inexplicable reference and philosophical wisdom, contemplation, even when he isn't being vague, you can rarely tell if he's lying right to somebody's face, constructing some house of lies to imprison them within, or if he's telling the truth in such an unbelievably assertive fashion that any individual cannot decide if it were even the truth or not. This is the case all too often when the Emperor speaks with his closest aides and companions. You're never really sure if he's being truthful or setting them up with some web of intentional misdirection. Most of the time, his deepest seeming revelations precede an event that results in a horrifying end for said individual, and so his revelations are some method of preparing them for this fact. Consider Custodes Ra or Malcador himself. This is, of course, why I presumed he often referred to himself as Revelation. It's occurred multiple times. Uria in the Church of the Lightning Stone, Magnus, Malcador himself. The Emperor's choice of being Revelation among so many other names, I always assumed to be something of an amusement likely to the Emperor himself, knowing his astonishing levels of arrogance, in the sense that he has seemingly never truly revealed his honest intentions to anyone, or not that we've seen anyway in a pure sense. And even when it appears to have occurred, its authenticity or entirety are questionable at best. Whenever a character is speaking with the Emperor candidly, it always feels like someone doing a deal with the devil, where you're trying to figure out what are the extremely important pieces of information that he's not telling you and that will likely cost you your soul in very short order. The Emperor's choice of Revelation also seems applicable as an ironic reference to the Book of Revelation itself, and we know that there is a current attempt in the 40k verse to connect the events between it and the history of ancient Earth, and the fact that the Emperor is believed to have existed in this time, although, as I note, this usually occurs through dreams and singular accounts that I consider still personally questionable. You have Ol P, for example, a long remembrance of himself and the Emperor destroying the Tower of Babel. In this same lucid vision, Ol also references the use of dark, powerful knowledge, laying waste to cities, the Enuncia, till they were nothing but ash and salt. And this very obviously is a reference to the destruction of Sodom, and Lot's wife, who looked back upon the city during its annihilation when told not to, and turned to a pillar of salt. So yes, we've come so far in the storytelling of 40k that its newest novels are now